Hello everyone, this is Adat and I'm back with a new video. So first off, congratulations to Johnny's West for their 7th debut anniversary! Yay! So um, this day, April 23rd, marks Johnny's West's 7th anniversary since their debut in 2014. They made their debut conference at Abenharcas and sang to Ejanaika at the rooftop of the skyscraper. At that time, if I'm not mistaken, the skyscraper was quite new. And it was, I'm not sure if it was the tallest skyscraper in Osaka, but either way, um, it, they're they kind of followed Kanchan 8 in that aspect because Kanchan 8 also debuted at the rooftop, but I guess West has high aspirations, thus the debut at one of the tallest buildings in Osaka, which is their home base. So most people would probably talk about what Johnny's West means to them, or would probably show their collection of Johnny's West merchandise. But in my case, going to talk about something that might seem completely unrelated to Johnny's West, but also something that I would like to think as a foreshadowing to my being a fangirl of Johnny's West. So let's go. Um, April 23rd, 2016. That was 5 years ago. Um, at that time, I didn't know Johnny's West yet. I still am an Arashi fan, but that time my fangirling was just Arashi. Like, I had no other interest for any other Johnny's artist. I knew some in the periphery. I knew of Katun, I knew of Kanchani, for example, but none of them like held the interest that I had for Arashi. So it is with that like fangirl mindset, partially with that fangirl mindset that I went to Japan. Now, 2016 was my first trip to Japan. I went with my sister and we crafted an itinerary of like non-negotiable places. Like if we are just going on this trip, we needed to go to certain places on our bucket list. And it so happened that one of those places was Himeji Castle in Hyogo Prefecture. Now, Himeji Castle is one of the um, very few castles in Japan. I think there are only three left, which are mostly intact and whose interior is still the same as it was before. 2016, I think it was 2 years after the castle was reopened to the public. Um, Post restoration. So they restored the interior of the castle, didn't change anything, just really restored all the wood and the like, and reopened it to visitors in 2014 or 2015. So a couple of my friends who were living in Japan that time recommended it to me, and when I saw the pictures, it's like, okay, I'm really going to this place, like no questions asked. So I crafted her itinerary such that part of her trip was gonna be in Tokyo, and then part was gonna be in the Kansai region, including Osaka, Kyoto, and Hyogo Prefecture for Himeji. And then my sister also wanted to go to this particular Starbucks place in Kobe. So some of you might be familiar with it. It's in a house that has very Western interiors. It's something I think that was also like preserved because of its like cultural significance, I guess, because there's a certain part of Kobe that has just like rows and rows of Western houses, and if I'm getting my information correctly, this house was one of them. So we had that in mind. We go to Himeji, and then look at the castle, and then there was a garden beside it, and then we looked at the garden, and then we just spent as much time as we could in Himeji, and then we go back to Kobe, and then we go back to Osaka. That day was April 23rd, 2016. Also, that time was the second debut anniversary of Johnny's West. I didn't know that at the time at all. Like, Johnny's West was quite unfamiliar to me. like if ever they were in my periphery, it was like very like casual. Like I had almost zero idea of who the members were, what their songs were, etc. Because I really had just like tunnel vision for Arashi that time. So um, you know, being in the Kansai region on that day of April 23rd was just, it wasn't significant at all. I just wanted to go to Himeji. It was funny seeing a Filipino pamphlet for the for as a tour guide for the place, and I fell in love with a specific mascot. Their one of their mascots actually. Let me see there. Her name is Shido Maruhime, and I've resolved to go back to Himeji because of her. Didn't get to see her in person. I just got to the souvenir store and fell in love with all the stuff there and thought that she was like a little dumpling, but she's not. She's might be bigger than a dumpling because the ornament on her head is Himeji Castle. But anyway, so yeah, I really was just like going through the motions, not going through the motions. I just was like blazing through itinerary, going to Himeji, taking pictures, going to the spot I think where one of the scenes in the Rurouni Kenshin films were was filmed, and then from Himeji, interacting with this nice ojisan near the train station where we bought, I think, not sure what if it was mochi, but it's a Japanese like sweet similar to like rice cake. And then going to Kobe, going to Starbucks, going oishi so, or it looks delicious at the limited edition matcha drink that was being sold at that time, hanging out a bit at Starbucks, and then going home. At that time, it wasn't. I was happy because it was my first trip to Japan. It was my first time seeing a Japanese castle. It was my first time sitting in the Starbucks with very nice interiors. Like none of the Starbucks that I have been to at that time in the Philippines matched or had the same quality of interiors as the one that I and my sister stayed at or hung out in Kobe. But now I guess Himeji will have something, or rather, Himeji will be significant to me for other reasons as well.
俺も浜田も from 兵庫いやが通るぜ日本、だけどお前はもんじょうように注ぐさと姫路へ Go home
干渉やな。
あせけ
俺は姫路出身と見てるが本当はもっと山奥の方姫路出身で言わねえと誰も伝わらねえからな Oh yeah!
So yeah, Hama-chan, living not in Himeji, but somewhere probably north of Himeji or west, if I'm getting my geography right, since he lives like further in the mountains. But yeah, I would like to think that my trip in 5 years ago was a sort of foreshadowing to me becoming a fan of West. 5 years, no, not 5 years, like 3 years after that. And it was something unexpected, really. If I already was a West fan back then, I would have probably stayed longer in Osaka, but that's not the case. But I guess it just goes to show that some previous experiences or experiences from our past can be linked to what we have at present. So it's just nice seeing those little connections, and maybe in the future some other happening would connect me, or like I would be able to relate something about West or something about being a fan of West to something that has happened previously. So, in addition, I didn't get to I didn't go to Abe no Harukas in 2016 because they didn't have significance to me at the time. And even when I went, I was able to go there with my sister again and another friend a year after. I'm not sure if it was my friend who wanted to go there, but there was like an audio visual exhibit going on. So we got to go to the top, not the rooftop. We couldn't go to the rooftop, but We got to go to the one of the highest floors with the view of Osaka. It was pretty. It was pretty. It was evening, but again at that time, it had no other significance to me. Maybe, hopefully, when everything gets better and we're able to travel, I'll go to Osaka again. I'll spend more time in Osaka and Himeji and Kobe, and just bask in the areas where West might have stayed in, where West might have grown up in. If I could go to Takarazuka, for example, where Kami-chan grew up, that would be really nice. But until then, I guess I'll just keep on fangirling. I'll keep on hoping that I get to go to places that are significant to Johnny's West someday. But yeah, that's it. I'm just really glad that past memories can be linked to current ones, and hopefully current ones can be linked to future ones. So there. So happy anniversary to Johnny's West. I'm so grateful that I'm a fan of yours. So that's it for this video. Do you have like any significant like past experiences that you can link to like being a fangirl of your favorite artist, favorite group, favorite actor, actress, etc. I'd love to see those kind of experiences. So just link it to the comment box below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.